Good day, everyone. I am Sir Robbie, and together we will learn the word of the future, robotics. Did you know that here in Educational Technology Unit, robotics is a priority to make every Filipino learners and teachers competent and meet the demands of the future global scene? Wherein teachers, students, and parents who wanted to learn robotics is just a click away for free. Robotics is an interdisciplinary field which integrates computer science and engineering. It involves design, construction, operation, and use of robots to assist human activities. Are you ready for this transformation? Soon in ICT's Educational Technology Unit. Come and join us and love the future para sa bata, para sa bayan, at para sa guro. Sulong edukalidad.
Magandang araw, Sir Wilbur po, at your service. Narito ang ETUlay upang gabayan ka sa inyong pag-aaral upang lubos na maunawaan ang iba't ibang paksa o subject. Ang ETUlay ay isang free online tutorial class na pinangungunahan ng ICT's Educational Technology Unit sa pamumuno ni Undersecretary Elaine Del P. Pascua. Ang programang ito ay hindi lamang para sa mga bata, kundi ito rin ay magsisilbing gabay sa mga magulang at mga guro kung paano nila ituturo o gagabayan sa bawat asignatura ang kanilang mga anak o mga estudyante. Sa kasalukuyan, ang self-learning module mula sa rehiyon ng Calabarzon at kilala sa tawag na pivot ang ginagamit sa ating ETUlay online class. Kaya ano pang hinihintay ninyo? Ihanda na ang inyong mga ballpen o lapis, papel o kwaderno at samahan kaming itulay ang pagkatuto para sa bawat batang Pilipino. Sama-sama tayong magtutulungan para malampasan ang mga hamon sa panahong ito. Halina't matuto kasama ang inyong online tutor sa oras na ito.
Hello learners! Happy Choose English Day! I am Tutor Jamie and I will be guiding and sharing knowledge on creative nonfiction. So get ready as we amplify the levels of our imagination and use it in writing literary pieces in our most creative way. We are almost done with our semester as we move to week 6 of creative nonfiction. Last week, we created a draft of our literary piece and started with using an outline. I also had the opportunity to show you an introduction of my personal essay, The Under the Knife in a Pandemic, which is still in the works and I am aiming to have it done before this quarter ends. Sana matapos ko siya. So I can share it here. I hope I was able to help you with starting your own writing project. Yan. As of today's ETUlay online tutorial, with the assumption that we are done with our draft, we are going to check our work by evaluating it in terms of its content and structure to see if we are doing well and if we need to improve on some details. This in mind, so our lesson would be quarter 3, lesson 6, evaluating one's draft. So this in mind, let me read out to you our objective for this session, which is that we are expected to evaluate one's draft considering the clarity of idea, appropriateness of choice of literary element, appropriate use of the element, and effective combination of the idea and the chosen literary element. And by the way, before I go further, shout out to all the faculty and students of both junior and senior high school of Caloocan City Business High School in Caloocan, headed by our OIC principal, Dr. Ivy Perez. To my English department family, especially my my department head, Sir Rudy Putong. Hello po, sir. Please stay safe sa ating lahat. Ayan. So, let's go through our session this afternoon. So our learning task is, for the first learning task that we will be doing today, we are going to use a concept map and with that concept map, we are going to identify the words or ideas that comes into our mind, and we associate it with the evaluating of a literary piece. So what are the things that comes to our mind when we talk about or when we hear the term evaluating or evaluating a literary piece? Like if we may relate it to or refer it to something else to make it more understandable, evaluating would mean like grading or like analyzing or assessing a literary piece. So what are those words that you have? So good afternoon po. Shout out sa mga kasama ko ngayon tuning in to this live session of ETUlay. Hello po, watching from Pilar District, Pilar, Camotes, Cebu. Ayan. Hello po sa inyong lahat, both learners and teachers. Ayan. Okay. So, you may have your idea on some words, no? Gagamit tayo ng concept map. I have here one. I have prepared one here. But before I show you what I had in mind, uh, you may want to comment your ideas or the words that you might want to relate or you may have related to evaluating a literary piece. Ano ba pumapasok sa isip natin pag naririnig natin evaluating a literary piece? Most of the time, especially in English language, we tend to like be intimidated with some of the terms. Hindi natin alam without even thinking na these are like simple things lang na just used in another term. So any idea that you may want to share, please comment on the comment box. Shout out to Rufino A. Cruz Memorial Elementary School by Sir Glenn Jorge Silvino. Hello po. Ayan. Okay. So go ahead and comment your ideas. I will be reading them later. Basta hindi lang, kasi minsan mabilis. So I cannot catch up. So let's see what I have here. So when I hear evaluating a literary piece, these are the things that come into my mind. So is the idea of the plot clearly presented? So this is one question that comes into mind when we try to evaluate a literary piece. Naiintindihan ko ba siya? Is the idea clear? Is it presented clearly? No? So those are the things. Also, we can put this here where the elements of the genre used appropriately or utilized. No? So the elements or the literary elements of the genre, for example, if we are reviewing or evaluating like a poem, no, are the elements of a poem used properly? Is it effective in creating the poem, no, in general? And then we can also have this, or you may also have this idea: was the combination of the ideas and the literary devices effective? So if we have the ideas and then the devices, the literary devices, as well as the elements put together, is the combination effective? Does it help the understanding of the literary piece? Does it help the author bring out the message that is um, uh, lurking around the story or the essay or the narrative? Yan po. Okay? So you may also have different ideas as well. So let's try another concept map that we may have. So basically, evaluating a literary piece, we also need to look at the mechanics. So the mechanics of how it was written, no? So pag sinabi naman natin mechanics, if we talk about mechanics, we are actually talking about, one would be the written grammar, but also the proper capitalization of the sentence or the use of the proper punctuation. Did we use proper punctuation with each of our statements or our sentences? Those are what we call mechanics. Are the words that should be capitalized or should begin with a capitalized letter are done properly? No? So those are the things that we should look at when we are talking about mechanics and written grammar. So marami yan. That's why I mentioned earlier that we are going to evaluate a literary piece, particularly our own draft, yung ginawa natin last time, our own draft, so that we can see if there are areas that we need to improve on, because that's what evaluation or what evaluating really aims to do, to see if there are things that we need to improve on, or if the literary piece or something that we are evaluating is good to go o pwede na siyang i-publish or i-share to everyone. Yeah. So let's see here. I have prepared a drill to let us review on some of the most common errors in written grammar. Let me just clarify, written grammar is actually different from spoken grammar. Of course, from the terms alone, written, sinusulat. Spoken, when you read and you read it out loud, you are actually speaking it. You are applying what, for example, you are applying what the period functions for. So when you see a sentence that has a period, uh, you'll have to read it, or you have to uh, properly speak of it as para saan ba ang period. So you have to stop. You have to have a full stop there. So something like that, no? So that's why sometimes I disagree with some of what I hear na we should not be looking into, we should not put so much focus with the punctuations and the capitalization when we are evaluating the works, especially of the learners, of our students. I feel that we should really emphasize on the written grammar or on the mechanics, because iba ang written, iba ang spoken. It's more it's there is there is stricter ruling when it comes to written, and medyo flexible when it comes to spoken grammar. And we are concentrating now on written grammar. Yeah. Okay? There. So, meron ako dito mga common mga statements, and then what you're going to do, or what we are going to do, is that we examine each sentence, and then we write fix, or we comment fix, fix, if there is a need for the sentence to be fixed. And then we type in no fix, NOFIX. No? If there is nothing wrong with the sentence, or hindi na siya kailangang ayusin. No? I hope that our co-teachers, our colleagues would help me with this one. I would really love to see your comments on what you on explanations that you might have, no, to have this session more interesting. Ayan. I would really like to hear from you. So, fix or no fix? Let's try this one. The first is, his "you're welcome" has so much sincerity in it that my words of gratitude were not enough. Again, his "you're welcome" has so much sincerity in it that my words of gratitude were not enough. So, is this a fix or a no fix? Do you think that we need to fix something in this statement, or it's good to go? Type in your answers. Watching from Bingkuli National High School, Negros Occidental. Hello po, Wim Wim. Ayan. Fix. May Shine Jed Domingo said fix. May nagsabi rin na Odiadem T. Rosiram said fix. A lot of you actually answered fix. 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 Ayan. Tignan muna natin. Let us try to see if meron siyang dapat ayusin. I hope my guess is as good as yours, no? So this is the fix that we need to work on. And yes, you are right, it's fix, no? So you have to fix this one. Okay, can I have anyone from our viewers to to at least explain, babasahin ko na lang, why we need to fix this? Most of the time we have, even ako as a teacher, I sometimes have this error. Because siguro na rin because of it sounds like right? No? So here we should change this with your, the one that is a contraction of you are. Yes, Ma'am Roseline Villanueva, thank you. Dapat you are yan because the statement you're welcome should be with the contraction of you and are, which is your. Ayan, nakalagay sa tabi ng fix ito. Ayan, dapat your. Yan, hindi yan ito. Kasi this your, the your is a pronoun. No? It's a possessive pronoun. Ayan. So your. So dapat your. So we should watch out for this error kasi very common to, very common. Kasi it sounds like sometimes nagiging tampulan na ng bashing sa social media. But we always have room for improvement. Ayan. So tatandaan natin, your welcome should be with you are welcome. And if we'd like to contract it, we just have to place an apostrophe after you and then add RE. Ayan. So, good. Thank you. Thank you. Ayan. Next. Luna spends sleepless nights reviewing all her lessons, aiming for the highest score in the exam. Luna spends sleepless nights reviewing all her lessons, aiming for the highest score in the exam. So, is this a fix or a no fix? Let me give you a clue. This has something to do with the modifier, with modifiers. Ito ang issue niya. Is it in the correct place? Oh, nilagyan ko ng ganyan. I actually gave out the answer already. This is actually a fix. There, fix to. You have to fix this. So anyone who would like to share their idea how to fix this statement or this sentence? The aiming for the highest score in the exam. Saan natin dapat to ilagay? Yan. Everyone I see now are actually answering fixed. They are correct. Absolutely correct. Okay. So, for our learners and our of course the teachers, you would agree with me when I say that our modifiers should always be closest to the thing or to the name or to something that it modifies. Kasi dito, aiming for the highest score in the exam, it's actually confusing. Sino ba yung nag-i-aim for the highest score in the exam? Yung her lessons ba? Or si Luna? There. So, this modifier, this statement that actually modifies Luna, it's Luna who is aiming for the highest score in the exam, not all her lessons. Lessons cannot aim, actually, no? So, practically, we actually have two possible fixes for this one. The first one is to aiming for the highest score in the exam, then comma, and then Luna. So I put an ellipsis there para to represent the rest of the sentence. So aiming for the highest score in the exam is describing Luna. It's Luna who is aiming for the highest score, not the lesson. So in this error, the modifier is misplaced. It should be at the nearest Luna. Okay. Ayan. So, another way of fixing the sentence or fixing the statement is when we put Luna, comma, and then aiming for the highest score in the exam, and then comma. Using it as an appositive. No? So, we all know what an appositive is. It's something that we can take out of the sentence without changing the sentence's idea, no, or message. So aiming for the highest score in the exam is still modifying Luna. Ayan. So those are the two possible fixes that we can have. So watch out din kayo dyan, nakakalito din yan, especially if your mind is really racing with what you are writing. Madalas natin commit yan. Then we have, she loves reading. She can finish a library in a single day. Ayan. Should we fix this, or should we not fix it, or is this no fix? What do you think? Mm. She loves reading. She can finish a library in a single day. Okay? So I think may sumagot na ng fix, si Shaina Domingo. May si Felix said fix din. Okay? So let's find muna what is ano. So I encircled the whole sentence because the whole sentence has to be fixed, no? Si Wyatt said not fixed. Bakit kaya? I think you have to read the statement carefully, no? Really do intentive, be attentive with the reading. Okay? Yeah. So we have to fix this. This is actually a fix. And one way to fix it is that to the error, etong error na to, let me go back to that slide. The error is actually an error, is a run-on, an error on run-on, no? A run-on sentence. Because we have two independent sentences, or independent clauses, I mean, and then we put it into just one sentence. That's a run-on. Dire-diretso, walang tigil, no? Correct, Christian Paul Soriano. It lacks punctuation. And we have to separate the two independent clauses. No? And how do we do that? First, we can do two sentences. We separate them as two sentences. We punctuate, she loves reading. No? And then we also punctuate, she can finish a library in a single day. Or we can use a semicolon, which is used to separate two independent clauses. Rusiline Villanueva mentioned use conjunctions. Yes, that's also a good way of fixing that statement, conjunction. So what conjunctions do you think we should use? What conjunction? I think we can use a coordinating conjunction here, or we can also use a subordinating conjunction, right? So she loves reading, so like it's an additional, we can, and she can finish a library in a single day. There. Okay? So those are the things that we can do to fix the sentence. And then we have this. John said, without emotion, I'll see you later. This is very useful, and we really need to remember this error. Kasi most of the time we would be writing like dialogues in our stories. Yun na naman, sinabi ko na naman yung sagot. So we go ahead. This lacks a punctuation, a comma. Okay? And so this is a fix. So we need to fix this. I think there are a lot. I actually saw like 15 rules in using a comma. No? So kung makikita nyo, marami pa yon. So here, there are two parts here. So there is a dialogue, there is a quotation, a direct dialogue or direct quotation here. So it's something that John literally said. No, I'll see you later. So we have to separate this. And in written grammar, we have to put a comma after the first statement. John said, without emotion, comma, I'll see you later. Because we have to separate the quotation, the quoted statement with the description, like who said it. Ganyan. Pag naman inuna natin yung quotation, the quotation, the comma should be inside the quotation, and then we go ahead with the rest of the statement. So there's a lot of rules there, eh. And if iisa-isay natin, kulang tayo sa oras. Okay, next. How about this one? Tina has trimmed down her goals from 10 to just 3. Sorry, 3. Getting a job, save 100,000 pesos, and pursue her travel vlog. Can Christian Paul Soriano mentioned, yes, ma'am, it is also in the rules of using quotation mark. Yes. Thank you, Christian. Okay, so what this is what? Do we need to fix this? Is there something that we need to fix in this statement, or is this good? Jo Marie Ferrers mentioned no fix. Are you sure? Would you like to look at it again? Would you like to see, to read it again? Christian Paul Soriano also said no fix. Sige, tignan natin. No fix. Sunshine Agapito Garcia said fix. Let's see the answer. So, tignan muna natin kung saan natin siya i-fix. Ito, getting. So, this is fix. We need to fix this one. Ayan, may nagsabi na. John IV Taluban said get. Yung getting should be changed to get. Okay? Correct. So, this is actually an error committed with parallelism. So, when we say parallelism, all the structures used should be the same. Parallel. Parang if you think about lines that are parallel, pareho sila ng hindi sila intersect, hindi sila nagtatama, hindi sila nagsasalubong. They are parallel. So, that is what is committed in that statement. Kasi sabi dito, getting. This is gerund, no? Getting. Tapos yung sumunod na verb, save, is in the present tense na. Plural present. And then ito, plural present din. No? So, dapat pare-pareho yan. There should be, they should have the same structure or same form of the verb. Okay? So, how do we fix that? By changing getting to just get. Ayan. So, thank you, Christian, for accepting the correction. Ayan. So, alam nyo, even teachers, madalas nagkakamali dito, so you don't have to worry. The most important thing is that we accept our faults and we do something about it. Ayan. Okay, so dapat parallel lagi. Get a job, save 100,000 pesos, and pursue her travel vlog. Yan. How about this one? Hindi pa ako tapos. Is this a fix or no fix? This is just an example of the sentence, ha? Hindi pa po ako tapos. Ayan. Do you think this is a fix or no fix? This is a direct quotation, a dialogue or a statement. It's inside quotation marks. So as you could, this is actually no fix. Ayan. Thank you, Miss Janica Lian Soriano. Ayan. So this is a no fix. Why? When you are another rule in comma, in using a comma, when you are including a person directly in your dialogue or in your quotation, you should separate it with the rest of the sentence with a comma. Like for example, no, comma, yung no natin, no, comma, and then John, you are wrong, something like that. So you have to put a comma and separate the names of the person you are directly talking to or addressing to. Yeah, no fix yan. How about this one? Pareho lang yun yung kanina. So, good job, learners. It's a no fix na yan, of course, because you all did a good job. Okay, now we move forward. No, thank you very much for those who have participated. So we move forward. I have this question lagi. So why do we need to evaluate or examine our own work? It's ours anyway, di ba? It's ours anyway. We want it the way it is. Poetic license and all. Ganyan, di ba? Okay. I have an answer for you, a simple answer. We evaluate to improve. The reason why we evaluate is for us to examine if our work is, if we are doing it well, if we have if we have to work on something and improve on some details before we move. Gusto nyo ba iba pa ang mag-correct sa inyo? 'Di ba? After you have already, like, for example, published your work. 'Di ba? Sa atin pa lang, we have to make sure that it's already clean. Okay? Next, we have, so according to Barry Davenport in his article of 15 common grammar mistakes that kill your writing credibility, bigat, diba? We have 15 common grammar mistakes that literally kill your writing credibility. These are the reasons that he has mentioned in his article. You can find this article on www.authority.pub and then common grammar mistakes. Okay. These are the reasons why we need to avoid poor grammar and, of course, poor mechanics, especially if it's writing. It's a writing project. Because poor grammar may, one, mean that the writer is not serious with the craft. So if we pass something that has a lot of errors, it may feel that we are not serious with what we have submitted, that we just submitted it for the sake of submission, which is really saddening, especially in the part of teachers. Alam na mga teachers yan. Parang most of the time, um, we really are saddened. Speaking for myself din po, we really are saddened when our learners would submit something na basta lang may maipasa, no? Kasi hindi inayos. There. So another reason to avoid poor grammar, or what's the effect of a poor grammar, is that it causes distraction among readers. Would you like your readers to focus on the poor grammar that you have on your writing project instead of the message? So nahihinder niya kasi yon. That's why we have to work on our grammar. Not really being to uh, work out on the grammar. At least do the basic. Okay? There. And there are also four aspects that we should consider in evaluating our draft. So the first one is the clarity of the idea presented. So when we speak of clarity of idea of the sentence, again, meron akong questions dito. Again, as I've mentioned before, hindi po yaan kailangan yung tanungin. Of course, you can just choose something that you feel most comfortable with. So when we speak of clarity of idea presented, so we might want to ponder on these points. First, it is hard to capture a reader's attention, much more to keep it. Nahirapan na nga tayo mag-capture ng attention ng ating reader. How much more keeping it, o mananatili silang nakatutok doon sa ating story. Getting the reader's attention is different from keeping it. So it is different different talks yung getting your reader's attention. Okay, good, you already have their attention. But keeping their attention fixed at your written literary piece, or your literary piece, is also different. You still have to work on that. Ang aim natin lagi is for the reader to read from the first paragraph up to the last. If you have unclear idea, paano na, di ba? Also, we have to put ourselves in the reader's shoes. Would you want to read a piece a literary piece with unclear ideas. 'Di ba ayaw din, minsan tatamarin din tayo. So we also have to think about that and consider. So here are the questions that we might want to use when we are evaluating our draft when it comes to clarity of the idea presented. First, were the information accurate and based on facts? Remember, we are doing nonfiction. Although it's creative, it still has to be based on facts. Second, were the ideas presented arranged in chronological order considering the type of nonfiction used? So, especially if we are doing a narrative, is the chronological order of the events clear or medyo naguguluhan ka? If on your part, naguguluhan ka dun sa pagkakakwento mo, how much more the one who is going to read your work, right? So always consider that. Next is the other two questions that I have here, also on clarity of the idea presented, are where the ideas used make the readers understand the flow of the piece. Halos pareho lang din nung kanina sa chronological order. And then, where the ideas presented consistent in providing the purpose of the piece. So if the purpose of your piece is to inform your readers about the importance, for example, the importance of health nowadays. So it has to be on that theme, on that way lang. Kung mag side ka muna, mag segue ka on on other ideas, just make sure that you go back to the sole idea that you have. Otherwise, your readers might end up losing attention or losing interest in what you have written. Okay. Next, another aspect to consider is the appropriate choice of literary elements. So when we speak of appropriate choice of literary elements, think about this. Remember the literary elements. These are what makes up a literary piece. So depending on the genre used, like a narrative or a story, we have the elements that we have there are the plot, characterization, setting, theme, tone, mood. Did you use it appropriately? If you are working on a poem, did you use the elements of that poem, no, properly? So here are the questions that you may also want to ponder on. How and why did the author choose the literary elements? So if the purpose of the author wants to narrate what had happened to him on that single event of his life, he may want to choose a memoir or writing a memoir. So did it work? uh, that would be in this question it would actually be talking about the author's purpose, no? And then what was the genre used by the author? Did he use a narrative? Did he use a memoir? Did he publish or write about his diary? Did he work on a personal essay, or did you work on a personal essay? Next is, were the chosen elements appropriate for to the genre used by the author? Is it appropriate? If you work on a personal essay, did you follow the basic structure of an essay, that you have an introduction, you have your body, and then you have your conclusion? There. Another aspect would be appropriate use of element. So again, halos this coincides with number two. How was the structure of the elements used in the text? How was it used? No, were the devices properly used along with with the elements? How did the literary elements affect the emotions of the readers? Is there any effect in that manner? So let's say you decided to work on a narrative fiction, non-fiction, and present it in your memoir. Basically, it is an event. A memoir is an event in your life that you decide to focus the spotlight on. So what are the elements that you can use? Let's say you choose to write it in omniscient point of view. No, so you have you have a narrator. So you write your memoir and set a narrator to tell a story. Is that effective? You have a memoir, but then you let a narrator talk about, or lead the readers into reading? Or are you not leaning away from the genre in the first place? Baka nagiging biographical na yung genre mo, but you actually mentioned that that it's a memoir, no? Maybe if you tell your memoir in the first person, do you think it would be better? So those are the considerations you may want to ask. So these are all other questions that you can consider when you are evaluating your work with the appropriate use of element. Why does the narrator choose certain language, report details that he, she does, reveal the characters in the manner that he or she does, and all others? Yeah. Why is the work set during a certain era or season of time, of day? Why did he write something like that now that we are in a pandemic? Will it help the situation? Will it help us in that situation rather? Okay? And then effective combination of ideas and the chosen element. Did the reader understand the flow of the piece because of the literary elements used? So when there is the combination of the idea and the element or the genre, did it work? Or baka pwedeng ibang genre yung gamitin mo, ibang type ang gamitin mo. Okay? And did the combination of ideas and literary elements help the readers to go along and be hooked with the flow of the piece? Did you keep the attention of the reader? If not, then maybe we need to work on some improvements on that detail. On your module, I saw this leaving the comfort zone behind, which is a learning task number 6 on the pivot module. I think we don't have much time. So we can go back with this one. We can have this as our review next week po. Okay? So these are the strong points and the weak points of that learning task or of that essay. Now let me leave you with this quotation. There is no rule on how to write. Sometimes it comes easy. It comes easily and perfectly. Sana yun? Yan. Sometimes it's like drilling rock and then blasting it out with charges. With charges. This is by Ernest Hemingway. He is an American novelist, short story writer, journalist, and sportsman. Writing is subjective. We write our own versions of our stories. We interpret it differently considering the different orientations we have in our lives. But never ignore rooms for improvement because it is one of the reasons why we keep on going. So with that po, see you again next week here on ETUlay Creative Nonfiction. God bless and stay safe.
Sigurado ako na marami ka na namang natutuhan sa ating ETUlay tutorial session ngayong araw. Tandaan, ito ay hindi lamang para sa ating mga mag-aaral, kundi pati rin sa ating mga minamahal na guro at mga magulang na kaagapay natin para maituloy ang pagkatuto sa kabila ng nararanasang pandemya. Patuloy ding sumubaybay sa DepEd TV para sa mga araling ginawang video episodes. Mapapanood ito mula Lunes hanggang Sabado, alas 7 ng umaga hanggang alas 7 ng gabi sa inyong mga telebisyon. Abangan bukas mula 1:00 ng tanghali ang iba pang aralin sa ating ETUlay free online tutorial session sa Filipino. I-like and subscribe at manatiling nakasubaybay sa ating ETUlay tutorial session sa DepEd Edtech Unit FB page at Educational Technology Unit channel sa YouTube at sa DepEd Tayo at DepEd Philippines social media accounts. Paalam!